Hello, spooky kids. Back to the normal programming. Back to the normal format, as it were. So, no one here to kidnap me this week and throw me in all kinds of awfuls. It's a good time. You guys failed me pretty hard, though, but I suppose that was part of the fun of it. And also, that was Carla and my that was our first date. So y'all got to be a part of that. Not bad, I suppose. Broadcasting from the crossroads of America in the heart of the great Midwest. This is Into the Night, and I am James Mitchell. Welcome back, everybody. Debunking the Dendera light bulb myth. For those of you who don't know that story, it's an Egyptian portrait or some sort of a depiction of what looks like a light bulb. It's called the Dendera light bulb. The theory suggests that ancient Egyptians had advanced technology because certain reliefs at the Dendera temple resemble modern light bulbs. However, this theory is based on flawed interpretation. At least that's what this guy here that I'm reading from says. I got this. Where did I get this? Oh, I'll have to. What is this? What website is this? The Archaeologist. The Archaeologist. If you want to look into that, you know where to go. Sorry. The it looks like fallacy. It's it looks like method assumes that if something visually resembles a modern object, it must be that object. And in the case of the Dendera reliefs, some believe that they depict light bulbs, implying ancient Egyptians had advanced electrical technology. And this interpretation relies on superficial resemblance rather than solid evidence. The Dendera temple, dedicated to the goddess Hathor, featured detailed art and inscriptions. These artworks are rich with religious and mythological symbolism, and claims that the reliefs represent light bulbs ignore the actual context provided by the hieroglyphs, which discuss Egyptian myths and religious concepts, not electrical technology. One argument for the light bulb theory is the lack of soot on the temple ceilings. Critics argue that if torches were used, there should be more evidence of smoke. However, ancient Egyptians used torches that left minimal soot, and there were methods to ventilate smoke. Historical records and other examples from the period show that advanced lighting technology was not used. The reliefs of the Dendera are often misrepresented as depicting light bulbs. However, the hieroglyphs accompanying these images refer to Egyptian deities and their mythological themes. For example, the bubble around the serpent symbolizes divine protection and rebirth, connected to the goddess Nut, or Newt. I'm not sure if it's spelt Nut, N-U-T. They represent the sky and the sun's cycle, and the Jed pillar, often misrepresented as a Tesla coil, symbolizes stability and endurance, not technology. Concluding that the Dendera light bulb theory is based on a misunderstanding of ancient Egyptian symbolism. The reliefs at the Dendera represent religious and mythological concepts, not advanced technology. By examining these artifacts in their historical and cultural context, we gain a clearer understanding of their true significance and the rich world of ancient Egypt. So there you have it. Not everybody believes that those were that they depict light bulbs. I'm not sure what I think. I think there are some things that do kind of that kind of lean towards that. And if you guys want to see pictures that go along with that story, if you go to the Discord, you jump into my Discord and go to media, it's in there. You can see them there. Now, question of the day. What is your favorite fruit? I like strawberries. Would you consider a berry a fruit? I think that's okay to do. I'm doing it, for God's sakes. You can't stop me. Tonight, we venture into a world where the unexplained isn't something to fear, but something to discuss, dissect, and delight in. Imagine a place where the strange and mysterious, from UFO sightings and cryptid encounters to eerie ghost phenomena, come together to spark curiosity. Sounds exactly like the kind of thing we're into. Whether the evidence is shaky or solid, it's the thrill of the unknown that keeps the conversation going. Our guest tonight has been serving up these captivating topics for years with a huge collection of thought-provoking videos that have stirred countless discussions among a growing audience. Rather than focusing on debunking or declaring what's real, they emphasize an open dialogue, encouraging everyone to chime in and share their thoughts on these mysteries, no matter how wild or unbelievable they may seem. With over 970 videos and a massive following since 2016 of over 63,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen, it's safe to say that they've carved a niche in the paranormal community, bringing intrigue and entertainment to fans of the unexplained. I feel that it is time to shine a spotlight on someone our community surely needs to pay attention to. And I'd like to introduce a person who's been opening doors to the unknown and sparking conversations in that matter, or that matter, or that they matter. Ladies and gentlemen, the hidden underbelly. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. What an introduction, man.
Well, no problem, my friend. I need to make sure that people know who we're listening to. You are new to these people. I think some people may have. You're fine. You gonna make it?
Nearly. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, no. I want people to know who they're listening to. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is the hidden underbelly.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Welcome. Good to have you.
Much love.
Yeah. We've got in the chat, we've got Alyssa, Blueberry329, Giselle L, Horror of Horror, Julie R, Juniper, Michael Burkeen, Ross Side Paranormal, Rob Linklater, Sir Spookfest, and Wayne Dawson. Welcome, everybody. And how you been, my friend? How you been?
I'm all right. Hanging in there, man.
Yeah.
I'm still blown away by that introduction.
Well, you go ahead.
Humble, thank you.
No, well, I appreciate what you do. I see what you're doing, and I think it really does fit in with what this community is really about. You know, you've been curating the paranormal content for years. And what do you think it is that keeps people so fascinated with these subjects?
The unknown. There's just, I don't know. I'll be straight. There's many answers I could give you. There are the people that have experienced it, and they're still looking for something that they've experienced. That I think is what drives people most, or the curiosity.
Yeah.
You know.
Is that where you're at? Is that, you think that's, what is it that drives you? Is you think it's the curiosity for you too? Are you looking for answers?
I'm looking for real evidence. I'm not looking for any answers. The answers, where I come from personally, doing what I do, but it didn't reinforce it. The internet reinforced it. But I've had paranormal experiences, and other people through the internet have shared the same.
Okay. Yeah.
From all over the so it's just looking for the real footage, but we can have a little fun in between that, can't we?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I love that part of you know, your lives and your videos, your lives especially. You know, you go live pretty often, and you know, you have a co-host, and you guys pick a subject. You know, and it's often I'm seeing it's a lot UFO based, but there is a variety of things that you guys talk about. The Philip Schneider situation and his story and all that was not that long ago, and it was fun as somebody who's kind of being a lurker. I mean, I'll let you know I was there and stuff, but I was watching the way the chat was interacting with you, and it was a really cool dynamic, the way that people say what they say, they talk amongst each other, no one's fighting. Everyone understands that it's all just stories that we can kind of, you know, dissect in our own way and put our own sense in, and then everyone if they, they can just sit there and consider those things or whatever, and it's fun. You mentioned that you had personal experience, so there was a personal experience that kind of like, did it lead you to explore the world of the paranormal, or was it just pure curiosity from the start?
It's I don't know how to put it. That's kind of put me on the spot. All throughout my pretty much I've had a lot of encounters, and some stuff you just can't write off. Some stuff are not easy to write off.
Right.
So I just wanted to. I liked good ghost footage, paranormal footage. I shouldn't say ghost.
Right.
Paranormal footage, and just doing what I do gave me the ability to not only get these pieces of footage, but also talk to the witnesses or the eyewitness. And just by having these talks, you get to find out what's really going on, because you see a bit of footage, but you don't understand, like, some of these people that have caught these paranormal ones, the genuine stuff. Yeah. And you obviously watching the channel, you know what I mean by genuine.
Sure.
They have to leave their homes. They move out. They get the police involved.
Right.
So there's a lot of backstories behind some of these footage.
Right. Why would they choose to uproot their life? I was just thinking about this the other day. It's on the subject of aliens and stuff. I was watching something where they were talking, and this was like, the government, like, the American government did something with remote viewing, right? There's this one guy in particular, I can't remember, was it Robert something or other, and they had him look at Mars. Okay, now when I've heard this story, I'm like, this is just a bunch of horse shit. But I listened to this story, and it's really interesting that he says he's at the specific spot, and what he can see or representing to him to be some sort of giant structure like pyramids. And he also starts talking about these shadow beings, like these shadow aliens, right? He says that there are these shadow beings, that there are huge shadow beings that are around this thing, or in this thing, in the area. Now, do you remember? I don't know if it was earlier this year or if it was early last year, but the Miami Mall thing, and then in Las Vegas, this kid called 911 about this giant shadow being in his backyard. Yeah. That they were clearly aliens and stuff, and like, I found it interesting that suddenly we're these giant shadow beings are kind of like, like showing up if that's the fad or the craze or whatever that people are saying they saw. I mean, people clearly said they saw something, so I don't know. And that thing with the boy and his family in Las Vegas seemed pretty. See, pretty convincing. You know what I'm talking about?
One is, yeah. That one there, that case in particular, it's a very interesting one, because if you looked at the layout of the boy's family, see, I believe in myself, Miami Mall. The reason why I'm not mentioning that one, because I think it was just a massive "Who Shot John" kind of routine. Okay. Yeah? But the Las Vegas one now, something. If you look at the structure of their property, they held vehicles there.
Right.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
These guys are workers. They're on. I believe they own the company, so they got cameras. But just for insurance reasons, they're gonna have to have cameras in that yard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like honestly, they got diggers in there, because if you look at one of the videos, they're saying that one's in the digger. That's what they're saying. I'm not saying that. So my thing is that the FBI, all the alphabet people were on this. Yeah.
Right.
And that footage we ain't never seen. We have not seen that footage.
Yeah. The only thing that we saw was like the cop's camera. The cop that was wearing the camera, and he was going in behind him, and there's like this shadow thing that kind of moves across behind it, and it's been tried to be like they always say anything I've seen, they're like, oh, they can't debunk it. I'm sure they could, but that's the, you know, in order of, on the side that's for aliens, they can't debunk it.
Here's what adds into more of the conspiracy now. The camera footage that you're talking about, the police camera footage, that's been edited.
Right.
You can tell by the time jumps. They took out, I think, about half an hour, and said, and they were also covering their cameras as well, and they said that was to protect that
family, right? That property and stuff, yeah. That's
so
right.
It's an interesting thing. You can look up many different things on many different aspects that we can go down many rabbit holes with.
Yeah, I just found it was interesting about the shadow thing, because when I heard about the remote viewing guy, I was just like, no one, this is horseshit. But then it's like, well, why would the CIA or whoever it was, I think it was the CIA, I don't know, but why would they start a program like this if they didn't really think there was something to it, you know? But anyway, do you so you've been doing content since 2016, and
that long?
I know, right? It goes by quick, right? Do you think that creating this kind of content has changed any of your beliefs? Or are you a believer, like you just believe in like aliens and believe in ghosts, or are you more along the lines of you have to think logically about it before you come to that conclusion? Obviously, I think you would want to think logically, but I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just asking, is it? Are you a full-on believer, or do you like to ask questions?
It all depends on. It all depends on what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You had an experience of your own, right? You had an experience of your own.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you talk about it? Are you willing to talk about that at all?
All right, here. I'll tell you one. You one. I was living in a group home, so I'd probably be about 13. Yeah, and it was like a bunch of us, and there had been some stuff going on. Mm-hmm. Just stupid things like blankets being moved, just stupid little things. But we all started talking amongst ourselves, saying, this ain't right, man. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? So we all got a bit hyped up one night, yeah. Uh-huh. And one of the house parents, because that's what we call them, house parents, yeah. They she was very into spiritual stuff. Mm-hmm. So she came in and she just did a reading, just talking to her. She was Hispanic. Yeah, so she was talking her language and doing what she was doing, and we were all following her about. And by this time, we was all a bit, it's, you know what I mean?
Sure, on edge.
What the fuck is going on here?
A little anxious.
And then she said something about God in this. Yeah, this is the last bit. This is all I can. And as soon as she said that, we heard this laugh in the room, just like that.
Huh. And you all heard it.
But we all heard it because we all got out of that. We all ran out of the house. That was it.
Huh. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I've heard voices in the room before. I've heard that happen. Never something so loud. When I heard it, it was always like, what? Where's that coming from? But
no, there was some weird stuff going on in this house. It was all like, as you get older, you always hear the stories. Like, it starts off as little minor stuff.
Yeah.
Then it gradually, things were going on. This is why we all started talking amongst ourselves.
Right.
It was like, because when it's happening to you, you're like, did I dream this? Or somebody's playing a joke on me or something. Yeah. So you're not gonna, and we all were in this collective mind frame of like not saying what's going on until it started getting little bit bad, like stuff being moved.
Huh. Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've never been in a group setting like that where something was going on that I couldn't explain by capturing somebody trying to be funny or whatever, you know? So it's interesting that you all had the same experience, you know, that there are however many other people that were in that group share that same experience with you. That's rare. Yeah, that's rare.
6 of us.
Yeah. I wonder if they remember it as well as you do. Certainly, I would hope. I don't know if you can just, you know, some people, they all handle things differently. You know, like, do you have any like influences? Any person that you looked at and was like, oh, I like the way they do things, and you know, like, as far as like in the paranormal and how you like, has it helped shape your content any?
Well, my hero and who helped shape my content are 2 different people.
Okay.
My hero in this world is Nikola Tesla.
Okay.
And he does spill over into the paranormal.
Sure.
Because through his Tesla coil, you can he claims you can contact the dead. I've never used it, but that's one of his many claims.
Huh.
You've heard of Nikola Tesla?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I know who. Yeah. I hadn't heard that. I had heard that yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Electromagnetic energy.
Right.
That's what he preached.
Right.
So
yeah,
and that's what he said.
Huh,
one of the many fascinating things he said.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. I mean, I've heard a lot about other, you know, accomplishments and wireless power and all that, but I hadn't heard that. So that's interesting. I know that there was this thing that Thomas Edison had apparently created some sort of device that was meant to talk with the dead through, or he was trying to, but I hadn't heard about Nikola Tesla doing it. So that's cool.
It's something to do with his Tesla coil.
Huh.
I've seen some footage where ghost hunters were using it, or ghost investigators. Sorry, paranormal. Let's get it right. Paranormal investigators.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anybody try using something like that either. I mean, I don't know how easy it is to get a hold of a Tesla coil, but in today's age, I wouldn't imagine it would be too awfully hard. I mean, you could at least make one. I'm sure they're not too difficult.
He made it when?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So all right. So you said that it was 2 separate people. Who's the other guy? The guy that when you help shape your content? Yeah.
Well, it's a collective, and it's those lovely people that were in the live chat, people that watch my videos, people that comment on my viewers. That's when I first started. Yeah, I was just throwing up a lot of stuff and not really looking into what I'm throwing up there.
Right.
And about 6 months into the birth of the channel, I had a comment left, and that comment made me think. And it said basically, you have a good channel here,
right?
But you're just messing it up with all this bullshit.
Okay, yeah, brutal constructive criticism.
Well, yeah, because I never saw it that way. I never saw it that. You understand? I was just doing this for me. I was doing this for me.
You weren't trying to cast the wrong message by putting out what you were putting out. That's not something that you had thought about.
I didn't realize that people were watching me. So you get what I mean?
Yeah.
When I said I'm throwing this out for me, I was just throwing it out for me. I was doing the videos because when as a viewer, I was watching videos and I was thinking, you should have done this, you should have done that in how you presented, how you showed your video. So rather than be those guys who type it in and all that, I started my channel and I did it the way it should have, how I thought it should have been done.
Right.
That's all I did. But I didn't know that people were watching me. So if people are watching me, then I agree with that comment.
Right.
You guys deserve better.
Okay. I love that. That's a great answer. So the community that you've helped be a part of, and you've kind of shaped on your own channel.
Proud to be a member of. Proud to be a member of those guys, because like you said, they can have constructive criticism without calling each other dicks.
Right.
Or they can have a good laugh.
Yeah.
Or they can tell me what they're smoking at the moment. That's how they are. We're just all a group of people. I just happen to be the one that's clicking the buttons and finding, and I enjoy doing that. I enjoy looking at videos.
Right.
I even enjoy looking at the fake ones because they give me a laugh.
Yes.
And if I find them that funny, I'm gonna put it on my show. Let's have a little giggle at it.
Right. Yeah. There are some things that you just can't help but be like, my God, I can't believe anybody thinks this is real. And it's fun to be able to bounce on that and to know, like, also being able to, like, learn how to spot what's fake. You know, that's another thing that you're doing, and I don't know that you realize that you're doing it, because you're bringing attention to what's fake and you're having fun at it, and it does help people go, oh, this was faked here, this is how they faked it, and then know what to look for in the future, you know.
Or just have fun. Just take me for what it is. This made me laugh. This made me smile.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Life is hard, isn't it?
It can be. It certainly can be.
Let's have a giggle. Let's have a giggle when we can.
Yeah.
If you got 2 minutes to give me, at least walk away with a smile.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not too much to ask. But let me ask, how do you choose what you cover? Like, how do you choose? You don't. You just did.
I don't. Now here it is. This is the day. I get up and I look in websites for ghosts. I go on the internet. I see what's knocking around, and if I find a good UFO footage or something I want to cover, I think is interesting. Because, like, again, the commodity that my viewers are giving me are their time.
Right.
So I want to give them something for their time.
Yeah. Yeah. So you look through some things, and then Harry, is that his name? Your co-host, is that what you said his name was?
No, that's Nick.
Okay, and Nick.
What Nick does is he's the research behind live shows.
Where the hell did I get Harry? I'm making up names over here.
You know what I mean?
His name was John, right?
Oh, John Bell. John Bell is the guy who he has UFO
that's your latest video. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal guy, man.
Yeah. But Nick is the guy that he kind of helps put the show together for you. He kind of, like, does he choose, or it's something that you choose and then he just kind of goes with it, or
he chooses? He's the UFO guy. He's got so much about UFOs. It's unreal, man. So he says, look, do you mind if we do a show about this? Half the time I don't know. I mean, I say yeah, but I don't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? That's why it's so funny for me, because we can have a giggle.
Right.
I'm the comedian out of the two.
Yeah. Had you ever heard of Philip Schneider before? He brought that to your attention?
I have, but I never heard of how he died.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
So that's why it was interesting.
Right. Yeah,
see, we don't rehearse the show, so all that is natural.
Yeah, real. Yeah. Yeah. His story was really interesting. I know that there are a lot of people who probably don't know who he is, but I'd like to tell people he was a guy that said he built deep underground missile bases, and that while his crew was building one, they stumbled across some sort of alien base in the Dulce Mountain, and this Green Beret saved his life, but not before he got shot by a laser gun that fucked his whole hand up, which he did have. Like, his hand was all fucked up and all this, and
a strong hand.
It was a very elaborate story.
But it's still one of, I love this story. That's why when he said, let's do Phil Snyder, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's a good story. And he died. He was murdered. But he also was doing he also had other conspiracy theories that he was kind of preaching about. So it's like, well, which one was the one that he got nailed for? You know, he kind of, If I mean, it's just weird how he died. He was murdered. He was strangled to death by a catheter.
3 times. Yeah. The
Catheter hose.
Yeah, it was wrapped around his neck 3 times. 3 times.
Yeah.
And that was ruled as suicide.
Right. Which, I mean, it could be, but it wasn't. It didn't make sense how he was like. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
interesting.
And he also said that if he ever died, that he would have been murdered. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off and talk over you.
It's all right. I think I started talking over you. But it's always.
How dare you?
I always say when you hear these stories, the Mel Gibson movie, Conspiracy Theory.
Yeah.
Because I always think of that.
Yeah, totally. Which one is he? Which one is it? Which one does he write about?
He's a character, man.
What do you? Okay, yeah, I imagine I know the answer, but I'd like to ask anyway. The most rewarding aspect of your channel. What do you think it is? What is it for you?
For me,
yeah,
finding that good piece of video that I know is worth that they want to watch.
Yeah, they being the community.
Yeah.
You're looking for just making sure that the most rewarding thing for you is knowing that you have entertained your community.
That's it.
Correctly, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's have a little fun, because it's all serious.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Right. And people take they take themselves very seriously.
Yeah.
You know.
And you don't know, like, your viewers, they might have something going on in their life where it's a nice little couple of minutes they can say, what's he doing? This is a piece of shit. And have a laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
No, you're good. What about a topic, let's say something you didn't know about or whatever that you covered and it surprised you, either because of how good the evidence was or how much it resonated with your audience? Can you think of something like that? A topic that you covered.
A topic?
Yeah, some sort of subject that you covered that really surprised you, either because of the evidence was so good or just how well it worked with your audience, or both. I mean, it can be both.
I thought, for me personally, since doing this channel, the one topic that has kind of left me in doubt is the Mars.
Mars?
Yeah, the rovers are on Mars.
Okay.
That we have gone to Mars.
Okay. So you think less and less that we've gone to Mars?
Being on the internet, it's the gopher picture.
The gopher picture?
You know
right, yeah. I do know what you're talking about.
Well, because you know that gopher is only indigenous to this place in Canada where they train the rover. You know what I'm on about?
I know.
Does anybody know the name of the place? And through doing this, I've looked on, people have cross-referenced images that Mars rovers send in from NASA, because also the gopher picture is a NASA picture.
Right. Yeah. And
some of the structures, some of the landmarks match up to this island in is it Dover Island?
I'm looking here. It is.
I'm stunned now.
I'm not. I'm not seeing that, but I do want to show people the picture. I'm just going to drag it over real quick so that people know what we're talking about. If it'll let me. Yeah, here we go.
Anybody 420? Anybody in the chat 420?
If you look at this, yeah, you're fine. You're fine. If you look at this area here, this is the gopher thing he's talking about. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but if you just look up
another screen up, so
it's not letting me bring it up any better. But if you look at that, just look up gopher Mars picture, and there's what looks to be some sort of rodent there. Yeah, that's interesting, right? So that's something that tells you you're kind of like, that looks like a gopher to me. I'm pretty sure that's a gopher, and we didn't go to Mars. How do you know it's not a Martian gopher?
Now you got me on the spot here, man. I do want to believe they're on Mars, and something like that ain't gonna let me go. But you know, I remember the time when they broadcast the sounds from Mars, yeah?
Yeah,
And I actually sat there and listened. And if you're on Dover Island, I think that's called it, and you just played me like that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What have you ever questioned anything?
Like going to Mars?
Or anything?
I mean, I like the stories about the moon, like the bases on the moon and stuff like that, like aliens being on the moon. I like those stories. The Mars thing, I guess I question the whole, because the face on Mars was always interesting to me.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and then the fact that it like looks completely nothing like that, or so they say. It's like, I don't know. I do question that stuff.
And I know the story behind that, the face on Mars, and the picture being so distorted.
Go ahead, remind me.
You know it though.
I'm sure I do, but you go ahead and.
Well, NASA apparently photoshopped that image. Yeah. No, not the face on Mars.
Right.
They done so much things that they worked out the detail of that footage, and they were asked to fly back over that area again, and they said, well, do you know how much money that would cost? And they said to him, well, you know, it's taxpayers' money, it's our money.
Right.
And they won't do it. They won't go back over it.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder why. And then I remember like the more detailed picture of it, it's like, how is it possible that this mess here looks anything like a face? And it was, I don't know. I just find it interesting. I believe we went to the moon. I'm not saying that we're not on Mars. I do know that they Photoshop Mars photos to make them look more red.
Oh yeah.
Because the atmosphere at Mars is blue. Like when you look at the sky there, it's blue. It's not as deep blue as ours, but it is blue. And when all these pictures show it as like a red haze, and it's very red, but it's actually more gray. Gray because of the makeup, the chemical makeup. But didn't NASA even say that they do this because it's more acceptable for us? Yeah, they said it's more digestible for the public.
Digestible, that's the word. Yep. That's the word they used. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I do think there's something on Mars.
Right.
See, I'm all into what the old ones were saying.
Saying that there's like underground bases there, and there's still living beings there.
No, none of that.
Okay.
But there was a guy. You ever heard of the Emerald Tablets?
Perhaps. I think I have. Go ahead and talk about them though.
Well, there's this character called I'm gonna say his name wrong, but it's Thoth.
Thoth. TH. Yeah. Or Thoth. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, one of his stories was about Mars, which was, you know about that?
Yeah. So, for people who don't, Thoth he was an Egyptian god of some sort.
No, he goes. He was
more like a person. I've heard him referred to as. Some people think that he was actually Jesus. I've heard that. There's a guy named Billy Carson that talks about him quite a bit.
Billy Carson, that the guy from the History Channel, I think.
No, he has a channel called.
Is he a colored chap?
Is he what now?
Is he a black fella?
Yes. Is he on the History Channel?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Very fine-looking gentleman.
Yeah, dapper.
Yeah. He talks about Thoth a lot, and the Emerald. That's probably where I've heard about the Emerald Tablets from him.
That's good that he's talking about this character, because this character has had a lot to say.
Right.
I found it interesting about what he was saying about
And aren't there
Mars.
depictions of him in the Mayan pyramids and stuff? There are depictions of him.
This is the whole thing. This is why I'm saying when you're talking about when you said ancient Egypt,
Yeah.
and I said older,
Yeah.
he goes way back.
Yeah, like Sumerian. Yeah, way back. Okay.
I'm stoned, man, so it's hard for me.
You're okay, man. You're okay. We're just having a discussion.
Me,
Don't worry about it.
He said a lot of stuff, man, that was
Said a lot of cool things, man.
through technology. It's starting to be. He looks like what he was saying was truth.
Right. Yeah. He's that's the thing, though. There's depictions of him in ancient Egypt, right? There's depictions of him, but there's also depictions of him, I'm pretty sure, in the Mayan and Aztec pyramids as well. And it's like, well, that's interesting. So this guy obviously went around. People knew who he was, you know. That's one of the reasons why Billy Carson's kind of linked him to being Jesus, or that they're the same kind of character, they're the same kind of person.
The same kind. I doubt it. I doubt it.
I can't remember what his father was. Some sort of. I can't remember. His father was some sort of god, though. So
you see, this is that what Carson's selling?
I don't know. I'm really talking out of my ass.
See, Thoth's origin story. Yeah, he's from Mars.
Okay.
He's from Mars.
Okay.
And he talks about the civilization on Mars. Yeah.
Huh.
And what he tells you is that they was at war. Now, I could be wrong, but they were at war. Rather than try and point the finger of who they were fighting with, they were at war. And he said 2 blasts, because he talks about when he came to Earth, but he talks about 2 blasts that wiped out Mars. Yeah. And there's something that science now, if you believe that they're on Mars and they're doing the things, but they tested the soil in certain areas of Mars,
right.
And they said the level of radiation that's there could only be due to some sort of atomic blast.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that.
Found it in 2 places.
Huh.
What did Thoth say?
Yeah.
Say?
Yeah.
2 blasts.
Right.
This is way back before all this.
Okay.
He said 2.
Right. Yeah.
2 blasts. When he came here, he said he came to Atlantis.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was talking about them.
Right.
Now, this is one thing that I found interesting that he said. He said Atlantis had a library, but they couldn't keep the library together, so they broke them in half. I forgot where he said the first half went, but I remember him said the second half went to Egypt. And he said there's by the foot of the Sphinx, there's a room there. Didn't they not so long ago found a secret room?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And,
I think slapping somebody to be looked at and kind of see, look more into what he's saying.
So are you familiar with Graham Hancock then? Graham Hancock, the guy he's all about. He had that show called Ancient might have been Ancient Civilization Ancient Apocalypse. That's what it was called. He's been on the Joe Rogan podcast a couple times. He's one of those guys that thinks that there was an ancient civilization before that predates the history that we know. And yeah, I'm surprised if you haven't heard of the guy. He's got some very interesting things to say. I don't think he's dead on with everything, but there's what's the name of the place? There's like some sort of road under the water. I can't remember the name of the damn something. They call it something road, but it's in ancient maps that go way back when Antarctica was not under ice. And it's pretty crazy. That road is on that map, and now it's underwater. But the scientists and archaeologists say that it's just some sort of natural formation. But clearly, it's absolutely not. It's absolutely not. especially if it was marked on the map like that. That actually used to be above water at one point and represented something, you know. So I think a lot of history has been lost to time. I mean, like people as we are have been around for, Homo sapiens sapien has been around for, I think it's like close to 250,000 years. Okay, people like you and I have been around for that long. Why is it that like the last 6,000 to 10,000 years, we just became conscious and just started coming up with government and language and all this? It just doesn't make sense. Why, you know, how, and if that is true, why the fuck did we just become conscious then? You know, what the hell happened? You know, see, that's why I like talking with you, man, because these are these things that, you know, get to come up and we get to ask questions about it. It's like, it's just fun to kind of dive into.
I never understood, like, being who I am, I never understood why they never taught us at school, first of all, Sumerian.
Right.
I mean, you got the oldest history, known civilization to leave recorded history.
Right.
Isn't that something big?
Yeah.
That you should be taught at school.
Right.
But they don't want you to know what they were saying.
Yeah.
It's the value of history, I think, is put down in one statement that I believe Winston Churchill said: history is written by the victors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we can say. Who knows what really happened?
That's yeah. Real quick, I want to thank Phineas Cromwell for subscribing. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Do you ever like revisit old topics, stuff that you've already done, you know, a show on or whatever, and you like revisit it, and then do you find that your opinion has changed whenever you revisit it?
Sometimes I have to say, I can't lie. Yeah, sometimes I do. Some it just reinforces.
Yeah. Can you think of anything that may have, you know, anything come to mind when you said did something come to mind?
Well, I always think of, I know it's a UFO one now, but I always think of this lady's great sighting that she had out in, it was on one of the islands out in Canada, and she told me, the footage is awesome, it's this giant triangular craft just going up into the sky, just taking off, man.
Yeah.
And she told me that when she came out from work, and this is why I love talking to the eyewitnesses. She said when she came out from work, she could see this huge black mass out in the middle of the sea.
Okay.
So she got on a bike and she rode home because she knew it was something unusual. As soon as she got home, she got her telescope out, zoomed in on it, recorded it.
Nice.
And she got maybe 35, 40 seconds of this object, because this thing just, as soon as it got airborne, it just went.
Huh. So it came out of the sea. She said it came out of the ocean, and then it took off. She's seen
it on top of the ocean. She just saw this huge black mass. She said it was massive.
Right. And so you revisit. Now, when you spoke to her, was that on the revisiting the subject, or was that initially whenever you discovered the subject?
When it happened.
Okay. So go ahead.
No, that's it.
Okay, so it happened, and you. What was it that reinforced your? Because you say this is something that you revisited later.
Yeah, I still look at it.
Yeah.
Because I still think it's a shame that I don't have the contacts, or because somebody should have investigated this.
Yeah. But
you get what I mean?
Right.
This is one of them.
Oh, okay.
Somebody should have investigated this.
Right. Yeah. Sadly, there are probably. I wonder what she. Did you see that footage?
Did I see it?
Yeah.
It's on my channel. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What's it called? What's that video called? Do you know?
Oh my god.
If not, that's fine. Was it what? Did she give us her? Did she give us her name? Yeah, no. I understand. I understand your struggles, my friend. I understand. Believe me, dude. I'll be driving down the road and just have a coughing fit. I won't even be smoking. I get all lightheaded. I have to breathe in deep and not die. It's a thing. Anyway, yeah. If you don't have the information right in front of you, no problem. That's interesting because I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see that sometime. And I could share it later on the community page for those give people a reason to go look and stuff. Let me ask you this: out of all the subjects at the paranormal, which do you think is the most misunderstood or misrepresented?
I think they all are, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, you take a subject and let's have a talk about that then.
Yeah.
Because they're all of them. Your ghosts, there are people in it for money.
I'm sure.
And so I don't know how to put it, but it's just everything that people are interested in. There's people who sees money signs in it,
sure,
and are willing to capitalize on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then therefore that makes the rest of them who actually have real stuff look silly, huh? Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to put it.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the thing that you like about the paranormal? What's your review, Jamie?
Yeah, no problem. I guess there's something forbidden, I feel like, to a degree. Playing with something forbidden seems fun to me. What I'm not allowed to have, I never could refuse. I feel like there's that thrill element to it, but I really want the truth. I want to know what it is, or at least be some sort of medium for a message as to why people shouldn't fake things. That's really, to me, I guess there's the defense of the paranormal, because I know it's real. I've experienced it. I know it's real. But when I run in, the problem is I see what you were talking about, these people capitalizing on something. They see dollar signs, right? And I feel that those people make the rest of us, you included, look silly, because we're looking for something that's real because we've experienced something real. We know that it's real. But when people like that come in and muddy up the waters, sure, it's good for a laugh if it's obvious, but when you have people who are making up stories about dead children or vandalizing someone's Airbnb for a video, or making up stories about people who are dead and gone and have no way to defend themselves, and making them look less than savory, then I've got a problem. Especially when there are people out there who are looking for things because it means something to them. It means something. It's close to them in some way. Everybody's looking for something when it comes to the paranormal. And it's a fair question to ask me, what am I looking for? I want the truth, but I also want to defend those people who are looking for it for the right reasons. That's what it's about for me. Does that resonate with you at all? Do you understand where I'm coming from and why that matters?
I don't know because it's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. How I see it is I don't need nobody to tell me it's real.
Okay, yeah.
Like, everybody's getting pissed off. I deal with the UFO side of things, so I often say, do you need the government to tell you this thing's real?
Right.
Well, they come out and say, yeah, it's real. So what?
Right. Right.
I don't know. I mean, once you've had your experience, you know what's real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, and yeah, I guess my angle is maybe I just get a little bit more fired up because of people who are close to me and kind of, I guess I know things. I know some really crazy stories, man. Like some things that have happened, awful stuff that's happened to people because of fake evidence, you know. And I guess it irritates me because, well, I've told you, and yeah. So I'm not trying to bully anyone or tell somebody this is real, but I guess to me it's more about like what I was saying earlier, learning how to identify what's fake. I think that's a strong thing to have, to think logically, you know, especially when it comes to UFOs. I definitely think there's something going on in the sky. I mean, I definitely think so. What it is, I think it's three things. I think it's our government, or the government, the world, like things that we've created, things from somewhere else, and possibly some sort of energy being that we don't understand that's actually from here. And that's maybe where some of those balls of light and stuff, and also can kind of ties in with people having sights of angels and stuff like that, and back in the day, or fairies, little balls of light. I wonder if those things aren't something that's alive, and then also bleeds into some of my theories about ghosts and stuff like that. I often wonder if it's just not some sort of creature, for lack of a better word, it's alive. We just don't know. It's not biological. But anyway, I think that's possibly what we're seeing in the skies as well.
So what if I told you it was all of the above?
Right.
Why can't that happen?
Yeah. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm saying it's these three things. It is these three things is what I'm saying. It's us, it's them, and it's possibly whatever this life is, you know.
Yeah, I mean with CERN ramping things up as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who's to know, the veil could be definitely thinned.
Right. Yeah, it's
just remember, what is black? It's the abstract of light.
Right.
There's no light.
Yeah.
I said the wrong word but it's no light.
Yeah.
It's black.
Yeah, the opposite of light.
Some of these things are blacker than black.
Right. Yeah, like this TR-60 or whatever it's called, or TR-3, this triangular shaped thing. That's what they're calling the triangular shaped UFO, like what your friend saw. You know, they're calling that this TR-3 or whatever. It's got a name. And I've often thought that those were probably government owned. You know, I've often thought about that as being something that was probably. What about the Phoenix Lights? You know the Phoenix Lights story.
That's going to be our next show, and I'm not too familiar about it.
Oh man, it's wonderful.
I'm not too familiar, but I did say to him, we need to get the clip. This is my only input on this. So if this happens,
right?
This is my only input, is to get the interview with Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah.
When was it, about 20 years
That's
after?
Right.
He just realized, oh yeah, I saw the Phoenix Lights as well.
Right. Oh, Stu, a lot of people saw it. Like over 2,000 people saw it. Several people. I mean, it was over Phoenix. And yeah, it's a great story. Great story. That's exciting. So that's your next. Are you doing a video, or you're doing a live on that?
Yeah, a live.
Yeah, a live. When is that?
I know much. All I know, it was like they reckon it was a V-shaped object. One solid object. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But it was massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like what? Do you know how big a B-52 is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we could put all of our B-52s on one side of this thing. All of them. Yeah. That's how big this thing's supposed to be. It's massive. Crazy. Yeah, so when's that live? Do you know? Is it scheduled yet, or
I think next Wednesday you're
gonna do live then?
We just email each other.
Yeah. So that's cool.
I think we narrowed it down to next Wednesday. We're gonna get that done. Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Then gives people something to look forward to. That's such a good story. It's a really good one. I'm glad that you guys are covering that.
That's all Nick, man.
Yeah, well, still though,
I'm just there to bust jokes, and I try not to find out much about it because I like to be educated, and as you see, I come in and I try to look at it both angles,
right?
Because before my missus was doing her university stuff, she used to be, how do you say, she's the biggest skeptic.
Okay.
So anything I show her, if I showed her something and she goes, I don't know what that is. Yeah. And that was like with the paranormal stuff as well, because everything is, as soon as I see it, it's a UFO or it's a ghost. I'm that kind of person. Okay. So you like to jump on the sensationalism of it, like, oh, this was probably a ghost, and she keeps you grounded, like all good women. She used to, because she used to tell me what it is, and then I would look at it and say, oh yeah, I can see that. Right. But they'll make a good video.
And at the same time, you're leaving it open for discussion. You're letting people, because if other people see it too, that's the other thing, right? Like, I'm sure the community people, they'll be like, oh, that's whatever your wife said it was, or whatever, without even talking to each other.
Well, then they say it.
Yeah.
They say it, so it's fun.
Yeah. Do you think is there a topic that, I don't know if your community gets heated, but is there a topic that your community might get heated about when they're debating? Does that happen?
No, because I stay away from that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like reporting on, I don't report on what the government's doing. Only thing I will do is I will post links into my community channel to their direct files. So if you want to go and have a look, that's up to you.
Right.
But I'm not gonna. I think the government has basically took over as far as the UFO community is. In any real debate, they've made it about themselves.
Right.
So forget civilian sightings, and that's what I do is called, because I deal with the general public.
Right.
Nobody wants to look at these people's. You get what I mean? Nobody wants. Yeah,
absolutely.
Which is insane. It's insane.
It's a very good observation that the government always makes it about them. There's some really excellent stories that, like the story about an elementary school. I think it might have been Australia or South Africa. And the children were at recess, and they saw this disc. I don't know if they saw it land, but they saw this disc, and people were around this disc. And then some of the children even said that they had very close interaction with these beings. Have you heard this story?
I know what you're talking of, yeah.
Yeah, and the government there, it was all. They try to explain it away. Like, it was all this mass hysteria thing that only affected the children and the teachers somehow, and they dismiss it as it was nothing. But those children are my age. This happened back like in the late '80s, early '90s. So those children are, I'm 40. I'll be 43 this year. And they stick by what they saw. They stick by seeing that. And there were people that told them, you can't talk about this.
Well, there's a good thing that was going down last year with the Peruvian face peelers.
Ooh, that sounds...
that one?
No. I have not
Face
heard about the
peelers.
Peruvian face peelers.
Oh man.
Please explain it.
Little village in Peru.
Mm-hmm.
Were being attacked by these flying humanoids.
Okay. And they would peel your face off.
That's what they were calling them. The face peelers.
Peruvian face peelers.
So it got to a point where there's some footage of them shooting at something. They're saying like they're shooting at this thing, man, and it's taking the bullets. And there's some footage of them shooting at something. As far as what they're shooting on, I can't see. Now I always wondered, was that mass? That's really a weird one that's going on, because the local government gave a Scooby-Doo explanation for this.
Okay.
Now this is what they said was going on. They blamed this on illegal miners that were flying around in jetpacks. Straight up Scooby-Doo. This is from the get-go of the story, because they've had some good people got off their own backs and went out there and got them equipment, got them better weapons.
Illegal miners and jetpacks, man. Is that something that they deal with a lot down there? That's I mean, that's
Check
wonderful.
Check that out, man. That was the local government said that.
Oh man.
Legal miners with jetpacks.
That's amazing.
Flying around doing this to these villages.
All right. Yeah, that's an interesting story. I haven't heard that at all. Story. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Story, you definitely got me interested in that. I'll have to look, because I've been looking for new topics, and I still get fed the same topics all the time.
One ex-Marine went out there and taught them how to use these weapons as well. I mean, these people were afraid because their living was in the fields.
Right.
And these people were afraid to go out in the fields, were afraid to leave their kids behind.
Right.
Just in case these things came to take them. So insane it was.
That's nuts.
I always think, this story, something was going on there.
Yeah, especially when they're blaming it on miners with jetpacks. Like that is the best excuse I've ever heard in my life. I love that one.
Expected to see Scooby-Doo just pop up in the corner.
Right. That's outstanding. Do you ever think that we'll ever get that undeniable proof?
Proof of what?
Ghosts, UFOs. Do you think we'll ever? I mean, I feel like we have some really good proof for UFOs. I think that's one of the reasons why I lean towards the idea of potentially being something paranormal as well as normal. But I think we've definitely got some smoking gun footage when it comes to UFO stuff, in my opinion. But ghosts, until I capture it myself, I'm never going to be satisfied. That's where I'm at with that. Really? But I'm always, yeah. Until I capture it myself, because that's what
Have you experienced something before you trying to catch it?
Yes. Thank you, Julie, for the gifted membership. Tateshi. Yeah, I have had experiences. I sure have.
What is your most memorable experience? Share that with me, please.
So I've told this story before, but it's new to you, so I love it. I have a phone plan through a friend of mine, because I shot my credit when I was younger, and the only way I could get a phone was through a family plan with my friend. And he would come over every month to collect the money. And I was waiting on him to come after work, to come out here and take his payment. And I had this dog, Shaka, and she would always alert me when someone came in the house. Like someone would come in, she'd be eating food, and someone would open the door and she'd be like, laugh, like with a throat full of food, you know, like it was just this instinct that she did. And we were laying in bed and I was reading something, and I'd given up. I was like, I guess Josh isn't coming. I heard the back door open. I heard someone walk down my ramp. They walked through my kitchen. They walked through my house, and they stopped in front of my bedroom. They stopped. And my dog, she heard the door open too, because when the door opened, she started going woof, woof, because we were laying down on the bed, you know, and she was laying down with her head down, and she was just like woof. I'm too tired to get up, but someone's here. So she heard it too. And I'm thinking, okay, well, Josh is here. I better put pants on. So I put on some pajama pants, and I'm like, why isn't he talking? Because Josh is very loud. He's very, you know, I'm here, you know, like he's not sneaking around. And I opened up the door, and there was no one there. But I heard someone walk through my house. My dog heard it. And I could feel that there was someone there, but they was no longer making noise. I didn't see anything. I just heard.
Did you open up the door to see what was behind the door?
Yeah. There was nothing there. Nothing.
So what did the footsteps sound like? Heavy, or?
It sounded like just like someone walking through my house. It wasn't like stomping. They were just walking through my house. Yeah. And it's not. I do live in a house that was built in the 40s.
So it was floorboards then?
No, I know it. And no, you're fine. Where the footsteps were, it wasn't floorboards anyway. It was concrete. So
any history to the building?
There used to be another house that was here before this house, and there was a guy that apparently was in the Civil War that died. Living? No, they tore that house down but built a new house where the old house was. There was a farmer who had a dog, and Bingo was his name-o. There was a farmer that he used to farm this land before my grandfather owned it, and he had a heart attack and died down between the two barns that are down here. And I think I saw that guy when I was really little. I think I saw that guy looking at me through the window. I remember it very well. I didn't know what it was at the time, and my mom, because I was like, Mama, there's a man outside, and she went and looked, but she was like, there's no one out there, Jimmy. And I was confused because I was so little. Like I didn't know what lying was. I didn't know what dead was. I wasn't, you know. I saw this man standing outside the window looking up at me, and it was. When I think about it, he looked confused. Like, who are you? Why are you here? That kind of thing. And it wasn't until I was in my 20s, middle 20s, where that memory popped in my head, and I realized that it was a ghost. Yeah, well, it had to have been a ghost. It had to have been, in my opinion. So those, I guess, are probably the two most memorable experiences that I've had. Yeah, I saw something, and I don't remember when I think about it, he was solid. He wasn't see-through or anything, but he also wasn't in natural color either. Like he was
gray color. Yeah,
sort of. Yeah. Grayish, greenish. Your channel, it encourages open discussions, no matter how real or fake the subject might seem. Have you had any memorable debates or discussions with viewers that changed how you saw a topic?
No.
No? Never? Fair enough.
No.
No one's just made you be like, oh, that's a good point.
Oh. Well, yes, there was in that regards. But I don't see it as a debate.
Yeah.
But what happened was I did a video and I thought this was awesome, man, from the ISS.
Okay.
It caught this like V-shaped craft. And it looked like orbs were flying up to this V-shaped craft, just you know,
Huh.
above Earth.
Okay.
So I'm slammed this on my channel, man, and I'm like, UFO mothership.
Right. Right. And this person kind of, did they shoot that down or what?
Oh no, this is why. Well, yeah, they shot it down.
Yeah.
See, when you use the word shoot it down, I always see that in the negative, like that. Yo, bro, what?
Right.
This guy wrote to me, man. And he wrote to me on the channel, and I said, look, man, just email me what you're saying.
Right.
So he emailed me it. And I was like,
But he made a point as to what it was, and something you hadn't thought of.
It was one of the worst things, because in my field, you can't get fooled. You shouldn't get fooled.
Right. Well, it happens. It happens.
But I had to do a retraction. I did a retraction video. It was only fair. It was only fair. Yeah. And I showed the video that he sent me of him clearly showing me what it was.
Yeah. Now see, that
oh my God.
That kind of honesty and that openness, that is another thing that I admire. I'm glad that you told that story, because it's important to be able to do that. Do you make a retraction? I made a mistake. This is what it really is. Yeah.
You know what? It got me, because it was a part of the International Space Station.
And at least you can laugh about it. That's awesome, though. God. It's important to be able to like share that. To share, it's like, oh, well, I'm silly. I feel silly now. Whatever. Isn't that hilarious that I got? You know, but at least you were able to take it and not be like, no, fuck you. This is what it is. I swear to God. See,
it never. You know what? It never is. If you show me what it is, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm on the same page. I'm only human. We all make mistakes.
Right.
That was a monstrosity. I can't make another one like that again. How can you put up a UFO mothership and it's a part of the ISS? Credibility down the flusher, man.
Right. Until you fix it, you know. When you fix it, you're like, yeah, because you're not out there trying to spin the wrong message. You're not out there.
But I really did for maybe 12 hours. I really thought, man, we got the effing mothership over Earth, man. With these orbs going into it.
Right.
Oh my God. But the guy who showed me what it was, he told me in the email, he said he had to track the main star. He told me what it was, and he had to track it, and that's how he got the exact footage that I had. And because it's all about the where I got it from.
Right.
I don't want to say the source of where I got it from, you know, because I don't want nobody in trouble. But I got it from this source, so it was downgraded anyways. You know, the footage gets degraded.
Right.
And he filmed it from his TV set, so that's degraded already.
Totally. Right.
And I threw it up on my channel. So, you know, it's me. That's my fault. My bad. Yeah. I shouldn't have done it. But I'm glad I did, because what if it wasn't?
Right. Well, but even the fact that it wasn't, I think it's perfect that it happened, because it gave you an opportunity to then fix your mistake and you know, remain with keep that integrity that you're about, you know. So I think it's dope that it happened. Let me ask you, out of all of the subjects that you've covered, and you mentioned something earlier that you thought should have been investigated more, but out of all the subjects you've covered, which one do you think would make the best documentary, or something that a documentary should be made about?
I think I would love the Hatman, but I know there's been documentaries
the Hatman.
Yeah.
I know the story of the Hatman. Yeah, there have been a couple of documentaries, or at least one, but I think they tie it into sleep paralysis.
Yeah, they do, but
Yeah.
you know what I don't understand. Okay, what I don't understand is that people from all across the world have talked about the experience they had. Now, how? If it's sleep paralysis, why are you seeing these three main characters in it?
Right. Yeah.
How does sleep paralysis explain that?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this: I suffer from sleep paralysis. Every now and then,
You see,
I don't, but I feel that there's something there. That's the thing. I feel like sometimes it's really awful, and I feel like there's something trying to get inside of me that I can't see. I don't, because I'm looking around and I don't see anybody or any shapes or anything like that. But I feel this presence, and it feels like it's trying to get inside of me, and I'm trying to fight it out. And I'm always praying to God, please don't allow this thing to take me or whatever. And I resist and resist and resist until I wake up. And when I wake up, I'm always like super groggy and really tired and really like wore out. I feel like I've just done a real major workout.
You drained, man.
Yeah. But I don't ever see anything. I don't ever see a presence or anything like that. I just feel it. And it doesn't always happen. Like sometimes I've had sleep paralysis where that doesn't happen at all. I'm just laying there and I'm like, this sucks. I can't move. Which it does suck. I hate it. But yeah, Hatman's a very interesting subject. Yeah, the imagery is just what's in the house around me. I don't ever see anything. Yeah, it's different.
I don't know what that shit's all about, to be honest.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced sleep paralysis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the Hatman.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's why I'm so grateful for the internet.
Right.
I was experiencing my shit back in the 80s.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and the Hatman is nothing new. It's something that.
Yeah.
There's early depictions of that being. Why is it always wearing a goddamn fedora though? Doesn't know that fedoras are out of style.
I just don't.
Why is it? Doesn't it have an arsenal of hats in its collection? Why isn't it wearing a 10-gallon cowboy hat or something?
He just knows that one looks so suave with it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's all. The Hatman. I've got a couple of footage of him.
Oh yeah, on your channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's good.
Okay.
I think he's good.
Right on. Yeah, that's cool. We'd love to get over there and see that. See, that's the thing. You have 970 videos. Like, it's a lot to go through. Do you put anything into like playlists and stuff so it's easy to find, or is it just it's a fucking search, a free for all? I'm lazy.
I'm lazy.
It's all right. Would you visit? Do you think you'd visit a haunted place if you had the opportunity?
I would love to, but I am a father now, and I don't want to bring nothing to hurt my child. So
yeah, I understand. I often think about that myself.
It's something that you have to really consider, because
Absolutely.
You don't know what you're playing with in these buildings. You don't know. You got to know the history and all that. You don't know what's going on, and sometimes things do follow. And sometimes things do look inside your heart. They like to hurt you by getting what you love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. Absolutely, I do. Yeah. Yeah, no, I believe in those things. I believe in beings like that.
There's always protection, but sometimes protection ain't enough. Like they
Yeah.
teach you at school.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Too bad there isn't a demon condom that you can just put over your body. Let me put this demon condom on before I do my my investigation of these walls. Let me ask you, so after all the years of doing this, do you still get excited when a new story or sighting comes out? You find yourself getting excited? Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Do you still approach it? Do you approach it with more skepticism, or are you still like you used to be, where it's like does your wife still have to ground you?
Nah, she ain't got no time, man. So it's generally there seems to be a downtick in a lot of stuff. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Either people are getting more savvy,
right,
or it's just a downtick.
Do you think there's a particular mystery or unsolved case you feel will always stay with you? Something that you still think about even though you've covered it? Is there anything like that?
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because there is. I covered a story about a lady. Basically, she got abducted.
Okay.
Her kid and her got abducted by aliens.
Okay.
And it's one of those, man. I so want it to be fake.
Oh yeah. You want it to be fake. That's an interesting. I've never heard anybody say that.
Oh hell yeah! I even say it in the video. Sure, I really would, but it's been when what happened was the story. It started on I think it was Twitter.
Okay.
But it is. I've compiled everything, and there is a big video. It's a long video. It's about 10 minutes long, but everything's in it. All the messages and stuff.
Okay.
But it came across as a woman reaching out for help. She called herself Nobody and all these numbers, yeah. And she started posting like stuff going on in her house. Okay. Now we were all wondering what was going on, but at one point she put a picture of her kid was like dancing in the kitchen as kids do. Right. But at the window, the back window, there was what looked like an alien. So I got a bit intrigued by the first video she put up. Was she caught something running, like a black shadow, but you could hear it running like what would probably be her downstairs.
Okay.
It's a really weird story, man. Really weird story. But the thing is, after the abduction, it went even weirder.
Okay. This is where it gets interesting. I'm curious why you want it to be fake. Like, obviously there's some severity,
it's the screams, man. It's the screams. It's the screams when they got took. It's all the noise and everything. It's really, if this is fake, man, I so want it to be. Like, I honestly do, because it's too real for me. And like, you know, it probably pays at the heartstrings because I'm a father.
Right.
I want to know if this little girl's safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one stepped up. Like, after I did that video, because it did play on my mind, this story really played on my mind. So I had to do the video about it, because I thought, you know, just in case anything happens to me or I forget about it, it's there, it's documented what she was saying. But what I didn't document was the aftermath of that. Was somebody claiming to be the police took their phone. It went really bizarre after that.
Huh.
Yeah. It just went stupid bizarre.
How long ago was this? How long ago was this that you made this video?
I've been doing this for so long, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
But that one always sticks with me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'd like to see all these videos you're telling me to look for or talking about. I want to go and look for. I want our audience to do it as well, because the audience, they're very logical thinkers, and they're good at giving perspective.
I haven't seen no conclusion to this. Like, what were you promoting? Where's the movie? What were you know what I mean? There's video evidence of this on my channel.
Right. And they didn't gain anything out of it. There's no gain. There's no financial gain. There is no. I haven't heard this story, so
I don't know if this is a college movie. Yeah, you get what I mean.
Right.
No one talks about this. The alien head, people did cover that.
Yeah.
But other than that, the rest of it, because they weren't actually following the story.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever heard of Billy Meyer?
Who hasn't?
Yeah, right.
I've heard of that cat.
Yeah. He's an interesting character, and while he never did any abduction videos or anything like that, his videos are just the most crudest. I can't believe anybody was ever fooled by them kind of thing. It's one of those, like what you're talking about, let's get it together and have a laugh, you know?
It's beyond the joke, though.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole cult dedicated to him that, like, stays out there at his house and shit. I mean, I'm sure he's long gone by now, but they're still out there. These people are still out there.
Good on him. Good on him.
It's amazing the amount of fake. I'm wondering if I'd really like to see this video, because if you want it to be fake, I want to see why, and I will do everything in my power, watching it, not to try and convince you, but I'll be looking for things like, is this fake?
Skip it forward, because I think I did this about 4 a.m, because it had been troubling me. The story had been troubling me, and I just thought, you know what, I got to put this out there.
Yeah.
So, I might have had a smoke as well.
As you look to the future with your channel, what are some topics or ideas you're hoping to dig into that you haven't yet?
The one thing that I always want to talk about is the human mutilations.
Human mutilations.
The similar to the cow mutilations.
I know I've heard something about this, but of course there's not a lot, so feel free to talk about it.
Well, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how to go on a platform where we can openly talk about it.
Right.
Because I do have stored away photographs and some videos and stuff.
You probably have to do it on Twitter it's graphic,
or Rumble.
Right? Yeah. You'd have to do it. You wouldn't be able to do it live, I don't think. No, I mean, you could probably do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it got flagged and taken down.
But I think that's a topic that should be openly talked about.
Yeah.
What's the correlation with these cattle and humans?
Yeah.
Because it's the same kind of stuff that they're doing.
Right. Right. I know people are capable of some really evil things.
To each other.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is that element to it. But if there's more mystery surrounding it, like where the bodies are found, or
what's been used to take out organs with holes, but still remove them, not ripped.
Yeah, that's weird.
Impossible surgeries. Some of them have even been stated to have exhibit burns of what you would call laser close to see wounds. And the weirdest thing is, they look like some of the pictures I've looked at. They look like they've been kind of like dehydrated. Not massively, but probably that's the lack of organs. Because I don't know exactly what they're looking at. See, I want to dump this all on Nick because I'm lazy. And Nick, God bless him, my co-host. I'm gonna dump all this on him. Right. And he'll get his show together, and he'll probably say, "You know what? We probably got to do 2-part on this, but I got all the information for him to piece a good show together."
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something that I would take lightly. I've seen and I've heard people talk about human mutilations, but I kind of forgot about it until you mentioned it. And it's like, oh yeah, that is a thing that I've heard about. I don't know that I've seen pictures or anything like that, but
oh yeah, man, yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah,
it's weird because it ties into I know people talk about Majestic 12 being a load of crap,
right?
But part of that thing on Majestic 12 treaty, was to take a few humans to experiment on. They had a quota, didn't they? Am I wrong or right?
I don't know. I don't know that story. I don't know about that.
Well,
I know about the Majestic 12, but I don't know about that.
Well, the Majestic 12 was a treaty that all these dudes signed, and it's supposed to be with to dealing with the alien kind of BS.
Right.
But what if it was just a little scapegoat to let them get away with what they're testing out?
Right.
The evil that men do to each other.
Right.
They can always just let us cats talk about the Majestic 12. Yeah, it's the aliens, man.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows, man? Still, like Madonna said, life is a mystery.
Somebody says that they're watching the Devil's Den UFO encounter. Tell me, do you know the Devil's Den encounter?
Not at all.
No. No.
I'm sorry.
I'm wondering if it's something that's on your channel. Obviously not, if you haven't talked about it. What's next for you? Like in terms of content? Like I know you said that you're going to do the live on the Phoenix Lights, so that's something. Do you have anything else that you're thinking about doing like in the near future, or is it just kind of like week by week, or sort of willy nilly for you, or?
No, it's day by day.
Okay.
It's day by day, and there's been nothing. I've been asking. I have seen some interesting ghost pictures, so that I like.
Yeah.
You could call them double exposure, whatever you want to call it, but we're having a little fun.
Sure.
I don't know what it. There is one that I don't know what it is, but they're not getting back to me, and I like having permission. But I'm gonna go back and revisit them and see if they're worth it.
Right.
If they are, I'm gonna just take them.
Yeah.
But it's pretty quiet. So I think I'm gonna be gearing up for the Halloween show. Oh
right, yeah. Which I'll be on that. I'll be on that on the 30th. Yeah.
I'm gonna be stoned, man. Though. So I hope Nick ain't gonna be too.
I would expect nothing less.
Well, I'm gonna be in the premiere of the Halloween video, so I'm gonna be smoking that, and then because you're coming on the after show. Right.
Yeah, I'll be there for the premiere as well. Seeing what you're talking about and what's going on, and then I don't know what we're doing for this show, for the after show, but it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to that. You know,
Yeah,
being a part of something.
I want to try. That's why I gotta, because I gotta try and do some other things as well. I'm just getting lazy, man.
And it'll be fun talking with you and Nick. I'd like to talk to Nick too. Nick seems like a good dude. Someone said that he's Graham Hancock's gardener. I don't know what that means, but that's what someone said.
I don't know.
I recognize the name. The name is Ben Jones, and I have a friend named Ben Jones. I'm wondering if they're one and the same. Let me ask you this.
I can't say anything on that. Nor will I deny anything.
What's like is there any kind of unexplained event or phenomena that you've never experienced but you wish you could? Like seeing, like, I don't know, like kind of like what I was talking about, where something walked through the house, or you know, or witnessing something, you know, up close. You know, is there anything that you'd like to see that you haven't?
I can't think. No, I can't.
No,
think.
Not a thrill seeker.
Well, it's not. I thought. I mean, I've had a couple of UFO encounters.
Yeah.
The paranormal stuff, man. Just that's insane. So yeah, nah.
Yeah. Paranormal, you mean?
I don't know what else.
When you say paranormal, what are you speaking about? Ghosts? Are you speaking about aliens? Are you speaking about both?
Oh, just ghost.
Okay. Yeah. You mentioned the one experience you had. Have you had anything else happen to you other than that, or something that kind of, you know, made you go, "What the hell just happened?"
What goes on in the sleep paralysis?
Yeah.
That I don't understand.
Right. You want to know more about that?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand it.
Right. Do you think if you understood it, it would... Do you still suffer from sleep paralysis? Does it still happen to you?
I think I'm too old now.
Too old for it?
Well, what I've noticed, what I started to notice is, while I was in my 20s, it kind of slowed. It kind of like really teared off.
Yeah.
And that was because I was smoking weed quite a lot.
So you say it was happening more, or was happening less?
Less.
Okay. So you experienced it mostly through your adolescent years.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. It happened to me. It happened more in my, like, when I was a late teenager. Still to this day, I still have it. I mean, it's not every night. It's not even every month, you know. But it does happen. It does happen.
See, I can tell you it's been many years since I've...
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're over it, because that shit sucks. That shit sucks. What do you think the most compelling piece of UFO footage is that you've seen? What was the most, you know, when you saw it, you were like, that's undeniable. That's absolutely got to be something.
I'm gonna say all of them.
Yeah.
Like I said, that woman out in Canada's.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know there's been some others, but I can't think.
That's all right.
I like some of the old NASA stuff.
Okay.
You ever
Such
seen
as?
them? There was one that looked really interesting, but it looked like something shooting out of Earth's atmosphere.
Okay. Yeah. Like it was shooting at something, and the thing takes this 90-degree turn. Is that what you're talking about?
No. It's coming out of Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's a big object, and NASA they put the cameras right on it. So they had to have been tracking it on ground to know where to position the camera to catch this thing going straight out of Earth's atmosphere.
I saw something. Go ahead.
That kind of piece of footage is like the holy grail.
Right.
Because they always say there's no footage of any objects entering or leaving our atmosphere.
Yeah, clearly there's something.
That one shows it, something leaving our atmosphere. So
I saw something where it was like, you see this white light kind of coming close to Earth, and then there's this flash, and then this thing goes the other way, and when it does that, this thing shoots straight up off from the Earth. You can see it was from the Earth, right where that was. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but that's a pretty famous one. But not the same one you're talking about.
see, I'm more myself into the history of us, the civilization of us.
Yeah. You think Atlantis was a real place?
Definitely.
Yeah. Do you think it's the Eye of the Sahara, like that one kid says it was? You think? Yeah.
Definitely. 100% convinced it is.
Yeah.
Because it's on. Who was the Greek? Was it a Greek guy or an Egyptian guy?
It was Atlas.
That gave the direction. He gave
no, it was Plato. Yeah, Plato.
He gave the description. It's the animals that he described. There's only going to be one place you're going to find them animals.
Okay.
And that's in Africa.
Uh-huh.
And then when you look at how the eye is structured, you imagined it flooded.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, it's very. Yeah, it's very. I think it's pretty cool.
That's the exact depiction of what was it, Plato or Atlas?
Yeah, it was Plato. Atlas was the name of the king of Atlantis. And what's interesting is the mountain range behind the Eye of the Sahara are the Atlas Mountains. Yeah.
Got it.
There's also a lot of gold out there. There's a lot of gold in that area.
That's what they would have been mining for their stuff.
Yeah. And it's also sealed off with landmines. Just fucking crazy.
So you with me. I sat down with this guy. His name's Tommy. It's not was. And he's a flat earther.
Okay.
I absolutely respect this guy.
Okay.
I don't respect his. It's not about respect. I'm not a flat earther.
Okay.
But I like the guy.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
And he's the one that educated me about Atlantis.
Yeah.
And he showed me what they were saying. And I was like, yeah, that is it.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly seems so. Certainly seems so.
See, I half and half believe Thoth.
Thoth?
Thoth.
Yeah.
I always say his name wrong, but I half believe him.
Yeah.
I believe he did come from Mars.
Okay.
I believe that the civilization, I think they did coexist with another civilization, whether it's ancient Egypt, but they coexisted. I think Thoth is an interesting character throughout the stories or the mythologies.
Yeah.
I think he's a very interesting character.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I think there's definitely something to whatever that character is supposed to represent. And the fact that he's depicted in multiple places across the globe is also very interesting to me. Because it says that he got around.
And you've heard of the sleeping prophet.
That doesn't ring any bells.
Edgar Rice.
Oh, Edgar Casey?
Edgar Casey. Edgar Rice. He was Tarzan. Sorry, man. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Edgar
that's
Casey.
Fine. Yeah. I know who he
You
is.
remember him in one of his trances? He turned around and he's talked about the foot, the secret passage. And he
Did
also
he?
talked about it. I'm sure he mentioned Atlantis as well.
Right. Yeah, Edgar Casey's an interesting story. I'd like to know more about that guy too. I mean, I've watched and read some things about him, talking about the Akashic records. He had access to the Akashic records where he could read, what was going on, and he was an advisor for several very wealthy people, and which sets off red flags. But what's interesting is that a lot of the stuff that he told them would happened. And he knew things that he shouldn't have known. He also suffered serious nosebleeds from being in this state for too long, which is interesting. Edgar Casey's an interesting character.
He had to have his wife around to make sure the questions were, because people at first were going over there asking him what horse was going to win in the third.
Right.
But he was somebody that was so prominent that one of the presidents.
Yeah, I think it was Teddy Roosevelt. I think.
But he talked about he talked about the Egypt as well.
Huh. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, interesting.
It's the history.
Mm-hmm.
It's the history of us. I think that will unlock a lot of things to a lot of questions. Like these entities that we're seeing.
Right.
A lot of things will be not. When you're talking, like you said, these three things. That's why I said, well, why not? Can't these three things be operation? These entities, these physical balls of light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think it could be. I think it could be that. I mean, I think it's all three of those things. Us, them, and whatever that entity is, which is probably from here.
See, I think. Looking at the TRB3, whatever they want to call it, yeah. I don't think that's ours.
Really?
Because the way that thing moves, if it's ours, that's got to be unmanned.
Yeah.
Because how that thing can shoot straight up, and it makes no sound.
Right.
It hovers.
Yeah. Do you know who Sean Ryan is?
No.
He's got a great podcast, and he talks to people that, like, I think he's like a real journalist. Like, he's really good. He just lets people talk, and he doesn't what's the word? Criticize or ridicule people for their thoughts and stuff. He just lets them tell their story. And there was this guy, he was talking about, I believe he was in the Marines, and his platoon stumbled across this craft, this triangular craft, and there was a platform on the ground, and they were wheeling containers onto this platform, and the platform just rose up into the ship. There was no like pulley system or anything like that. It just rose from the ground to the ship, attached to the ship. The ship lifted up and just shot off, and it was this triangular shape that he's talking about. And he was saying, and the thing is the guy has credentials, like you don't make it onto the Sean Ryan show if you're just some Joe Schmo. Like, yeah, he's not going to bring up somebody who's going to be telling what's obvious bullshit. Like, this guy saw something. There was a stretch of 3 episodes that the dude did with like different people that were in the military, and they all 3 had really interesting stories. That was one of them.
I think that the government got ahead of this one, and they found old patents that were put out.
Yeah.
And they said, look, this could be because we've got these patents. Who knows if we actually built this craft? But like you're saying, first-hand testimony of how these things are moving
Mm-hmm.
And they've been sighted from when? How
Oh,
long
a
ago?
long time. At least since the 80s.
So these would have to, the only explanation, logical explanation, these would have to be unmanned drones or unmanned vehicles.
Massive drones.
They make no noise.
Yeah.
Get over that first.
Right. Yeah, very interesting. I love it. It's been 2 hours already. It has been 2 hours. Can you believe that? It just flew by. Yeah, it sure does. We're gonna go ahead and take a break and let our friend here go pee or get a drink if you have to. Y'all are welcome to do the same thing. I appreciate everybody being here. We will be right back. This is Into the Night. I am James Mitchell with our guest, the Hidden Underbelly. And we're back from our break with the Hidden Underbelly. It is time for the questions and call-in segment of the show. This is my favorite part of the show, to be honest with you, because you never know what the hell is going to happen. If you want to call in, if you want to call in, there's a link there at the top of the chat. You can click on that. It'll take you backstage. I am willing to bring you on stage to ask our friend a question if you would like. And you have, yeah, well, yes, they can come up here and ask it themselves. They can come up here and ask you. And if what I like to do is keep it to 60 seconds, keep the question 60 seconds or so, and then get your answer. You can stay on and let him talk to you directly, or you can choose to get off the stage and take your answer just in the stream. You can also fill, and I highly encourage you to fill my chat section with questions. Please be sure at the beginning of your question to enter a capital letter Q. That way it is easier for me to see who's asking questions. I did see a question back here a bit ago. Let's see here, where are you? From Ian Cavaney, asks, has HU looked at the 2016 Penturk UFO incident? Possibly one of the UK's most significant UFO encounters since the 90s. Flap around Bonnie Bridge. Do you know what Ian's talking about?
I believe that's the one in the woods with the military.
Okay.
The lights or the orb.
We're not talking about oh gosh, what's the one with Jim Peniston and?
Or am I getting that wrong? Rendlesham.
Rendlesham. Yeah,
I'm getting it wrong.
This is Bonnie Bridge. Penturk. 2016 Penturk UFO incident. I could be butchering that, but
I'm sorry, I can't.
You don't know anything about that? That's okay. No, it's no problem. It's no problem. We got a question from Tara asking, there are half the world who are in the military who have to sign a document saying they can't talk about UFOs, but most of them have some understanding of these things. I guess what their question is, why do you think that they have some sort of an understanding of these things? You know, there's all these people that are in the military. Why? And they have to sign a document saying they can't talk about UFOs. But most of them have to have some sort of understanding.
It's not just UFOs though.
Mm-hmm.
It's NDAs are what they called? Did I say it right?
Yeah, NDA, non-disclosure agreement.
They're for everything. And
Yeah.
you have to kind of look at it this way. What goes on in the military is, you know how the cartels, they build their tunnels.
Uh-huh. Right.
So they'll let somebody come along and build so much and then kill them.
Uh-huh.
And they call in another crew and they come along. And if you're lucky by the end, because you're at the end, you don't know much. You're just putting in the finishing touches. They might let you walk out. you get what I mean? They're not going to show you everything.
Right.
So you might glance a little something, or you might see. So I think the people that really know are the contractors.
Right.
They also have to sign.
Yeah, NDAs.
Disclosures. Yeah. They also
Yeah.
have to sign them. And there's a lot of money tied around. Always follow the money.
Right.
In this. In these companies.
Right. Yeah, where's it going?
Well, there are some, like they're old R&Ds. I do think they are on something.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna find out, man. To be straight, you're not gonna find out. They do have a lot of stuff. I mean, you could walk in and see a structure.
Right.
I don't know.
But they're not going to talk about it. They're not going to talk about it. Yeah, I've heard stories like that. This guy, the same show, Sean Ryan, this guy was talking about, it was actually in the middle of a dump. It was a dump. There was this military bunker in this dump.
Mm.
And they go down these stairs. It was him and his father, and they go into this room, and there's this obelisk just floating there. Huge black obelisk just floating flatwise like a big table. And when they came back through, that thing was gone. And this guy, the military guy that hired these contractors, was like, you need to sign this NDA before you leave. And the guy that was like, dude, we've been friends for 40 years or whatever. I don't need to sign shit, Well, so he refused. He refused, and then they upturned his whole business. Yep, they upturned his whole life. Yep. Julie
and he was a subcontractor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
See, these are the guys. These are the guys you kind of want to listen to.
Right.
These military people. I'm not discrediting them.
Right.
But in the game of disinformation, we all know, and it's been open for ages now, that the government has certain factions.
That's right.
Solely out there to put out disinformation.
Yes. Yeah. What's his name? Richard Doty. I'm sure you know who Richard Doty is. He was like, oh my goodness, dude. Do you know who Linda Moulton Howe is?
I've heard of her.
Yeah. Well, he caused her all kinds of problems, man. All kinds of problems. There was this guy, Paul Benowitz, who lived next to the Dulce Mountain. He was capturing coding from the actual military base that was there, and he thought it was aliens. So he went to the military base and said, "Hey, I've seen crazy shit flying around the Dulce Mountain, and I've captured this this data, which is clearly extraterrestrial." And it wasn't. It was actually data from the military branch, from that base, but he had breached them, and they didn't realize that they could be breached. So instead of, to keep that undercover, they were like, "Yeah, man, thank you. It's aliens." And Paul Benowitz ended up going crazy. He like after 8 years, he lost his brain entirely, lost his mind. He ended up dying in a mental institution. And it was all because of this Richard Doty guy, this misinformationalist guy. It's insane what they'll do to. And I agree with you. I think any military authority talking about UFOs, patriotism, man. They're all patriots, and they're gonna serve their country. You don't just retire from being a patriot, man. You can retire from the military, but you don't retire your patriotism. And they will take that shit to the grave, and they will continue to do their job because they're serving their country. So, yeah, it's really hard to listen to military men and take what they're saying at face value. And as I often advocate, never take anything at face value, you know.
See, I think there's something going on, because the only reason why is I think they're trying to control the narrative. And if you're trying to get it to steer in one direction, what are you getting? What are you trying to steer it away from?
Exactly. Whatever they're up to, those evildoers. Julie Jayadi asks, "Is that a twang of Brummie or Bristol accent I'm hearing?"
Brummie.
Yeah. Julie had you pegged.
How you doing?
Let's see here. Sometimes my thing.
I think. See, I've said this time and time again, my friend. I think what they're doing to us is like my favorite example, and some people might say this is predictive programming. Was the Batman movie, Michael Keaton Batman,
The best Batman.
Well, Jack Nicholson's Joker.
Uh-huh.
I like them all.
Yeah.
But there you go. But well, never mind. That's debatable about all of them. But never mind.
We can talk about Batman.
Poor Falcon. Poor. And George Clooney, man, Jesus, what's going on with them things? But anyways, the Joker, Jack Nicholson, when he did his Joker, whatever, when he wanted them to have their smile, he put it on in lots of different things. So yeah, sure, you're all right if you brush your teeth, but if you also use this mouthwash and this cologne, boom, you've activated it.
Right, you've activated the poison. Yeah. Smilex.
I think this is what they're doing on every angle.
Okay.
I think CERN's. I do think CERN's plays a lot into this.
Yeah.
But it's not just CERN's. It's the activity that goes within it, because there are other generators.
Sure.
I mean, there's a big one out in America.
Really?
I'm sure.
A CERN generator. I know of HARP, but
see, HARP's interesting as well.
Yeah. I think we can control the weather. I think we can, and that's a sign of an intelligent species. Is that if we can control the weather, we start dipping into the next point in our civilization level, And I think we do. So last year there were these horrible forest fires in Canada. Bad. The whole fucking country was basically on fire. And that smoke came down to Indiana, and we're a good distance. And it was thick. It was like fog, and it was smoke. It smelled like burning wood. Crazy shit from California or from Canada. And it was like that for a day. It rained. The smoke went away. And I wonder if that rainstorm was maybe manipulated by man in order to make the smoke go away. I don't know. It just seemed a little, because it was holy shit, what are we gonna do? It was that bad. The air quality was that bad. It was awful. And then it rained and it all went away. So I wonder. I feel like HARP probably has some sort of pull on weather study and stuff like that. Someone asks, Booberry asks, do you believe in the Illuminati?
Of course I do.
Yeah. What do you think it is? What do you think it is that these elite people, who do you think they are? I mean, if you're willing to say. I mean, I think obviously the Rothschilds and who else? What's really interesting is a lot of the world leaders all kind of date back to being related to Alexander the Great. That's really interesting. It's all from the same family tree. But yeah, I mean, who do you think they are? Who do you think's pulling the strings?
I couldn't even fathom to tell you,
Yeah.
Is it someone that we've never heard of, never
Right.
seen? You know, could it even be a person? Could
Okay.
even be Thoth? Could even be Thoth himself?
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something?
But yeah, the Illuminati is a real thing.
Yeah.
There's. Can I say this? There's two Illuminatis.
Okay.
The one that we all know about with all the symbols and associated with devil worshiping and the Luciferian practice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was recognized in 1776 by a guy called Adam Weishaupt.
Mm-hmm.
He formed the Bavarian. Am I saying that right?
I know a Bohemian.
No.
But it could be Bavarian. Yeah.
Bavarian branch of the Illuminati. And through Adam Weishaupt's guide and leadership, and who knows, maybe still from beyond, he guides it. It's been driven to what it is, and it's infested mainly the banking, which controls the world. It's that old saying, isn't it? There's an old saying, give a man a gun, he'll rob a bank. Give a man a bank, he'll rob the world.
Hell yeah. Very true.
Stone saying from a stoner.
Love it. Ian Cavity, go ahead.
Yeah, believe in it, man. Believe in it.
Ian Cavity asks, any conspiracies about, is it Macarena?
Machiavelli?
Listen, man. Got me all tied up here. Macrahanish. Professor Simon Holland has covered that place pretty well. Conspiracy about Macrahanish. Machrihanis.
Machiavelli. Prince Machiavelli.
I know that, but I don't know. Maybe he...
The only thing I know about Prince Machiavelli was that he faked his own death.
Oh, yeah? Gotcha. Yeah. That's why there's that whole tie-in with Tupac and Machiavelli.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
That's the only way I heard of it as well.
Okay, gotcha.
Other than that, I have no...
Well, I don't even know if that's what he's talking about. If Ian, go ahead and drop a question again and maybe make it to where I can, because I'm dumb, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So talk to me like I'm 5. Horror of Horror asks, at what point in your unexplained experiences did you decide you wanted to bring it to the YouTube world? Like, what was that pivoting moment for you? Good question.
It wasn't. It was more like, I don't know. I'm one of these guys, and I just, rather than whinge and moan that what these guys are doing wrong, why not just do it myself?
Right, set an example.
Yeah. Well, not set an example, just do it myself.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that what I was doing would resonate, and I didn't realize how I would evolve would resonate as well.
Right.
Because I was demonetized for 2 years because they were saying I weren't presenting my videos, YouTube. This is why I feel I have to speak in them. And ever since I've started to speak in them and present them, they leave me alone.
I love that. So you went through 2 years of being demonetized, still made content, still did it.
Yeah. Some of my biggest videos. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It just got to a point where it was like, because it's a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I should, as long as I can get enough to keep going. No, it ain't even that, man.
Right, clearly, because you were doing it. You were doing it without being paid. Yeah. And see,
but
this.
I do need a webcam, so I need to make ad revenues.
Well, see, but this is exact, and I know chat already sees exactly what I see in you. because you're hitting all the right things. You're saying all the right things, man. And you don't even, it's so innocent. You are so innocently doing it. And I encourage you to never fucking change, dude. I love you the way you are, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Michael Burkeen asks, do you think swamp gas is real or just an excuse the government uses to cover everything up?
The phenomena is real.
Sure it is. Sure it is.
But, yeah.
Does the government take liberties? Yeah. Absolutely. Right?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. There was a famous sighting. Well, not famous. There was a sighting that I covered. And it was a big sighting, but, you know, I'm not saying, never mind. But anyways, this pilot was flying over, and you heard him clear as day, because it's very weird. The pilots, they like to talk in code.
Right.
And this guy just turned around and said, yo, this huge cigar-shaped object just flew right over us. Soon as he said that. And, but anyways, I kept an eye on the story, and it just basically said further information now has gone to the FBI.
Okay.
Straight up took it over.
Wow. Yeah.
This was a commercial airline.
Right. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, but I love that you know this stuff. So you're quite the encyclopedia because of how long you've been doing it and all the people you talk to. I love that. You have a lot of stories that I haven't heard, you know. Tara asks, what do you think happened with the Men in Black? I'm not sure what that means. Like, are there less reports of Men in Black? I don't know. Do you even think it's real?
I just think they're suits. Yeah, I think they're real.
Yeah.
I think they're real. But I just think they're suits.
They're just people?
They're probably just like, if you look at the X-Files, I mean, the CIA, their files on the UFOs and also paranormal is called the X-Files.
Right.
So surely they did have a group of individuals that did, no matter how trivial, turned up.
Mm-hmm.
And so through seeing these guys saying, oh, the Men in Black were here, the black suits.
Yeah, it is an interesting...
I do think they're real, but as far as them being aliens and extraterrestrials working with the government, it's kind of way out there.
Yeah, right. What's more likely? Is it people from Earth or people from, you know, somewhere else? Obviously, Occam's razor. Yeah.
I like that saying.
But it's real. Debunk the Junk asks, opinions on the Montauk Project. Are you familiar with the Montauk Project?
A little bit. It is interesting.
Yeah.
Because it is a place of experiments.
Right.
So.
Any particular stance on it?
Well, there's
like,
always
what do you think it is?
There's always a possibility that they fucked up they messed up and they put something out there.
Yeah.
There's always a great possibility of that.
Yeah.
But again, to replicate what they put out there, there's obviously something out there already. I think there's a lot of things out here that we just, you know.
Right. Yeah, we just, don't know. Yeah. Again, feel free to call in. The link is at the top of the stream, or at the top of the chat, if you want to call in and ask our friend a question here. Yeah. But I still have plenty of questions in the chat. Question from Alyssa. If aliens were here to walk off a ship, which, look from what you've heard or seen, do you believe they would take shape of... I'm not sure. I don't know if that went through all the way. What look of those that are said do you believe they would be? That is a pile of words that I don't understand. If aliens were able to walk off a ship, what do you... I think they're asking, what would they take shape of? We're talking about shapeshifters at this point. I think.
they'd probably... I don't know. See, I always think what the Chinese think. The Japanese think that the most peaceful, tranquil facial feature is a cat. That's why they draw a lot of their
Oh, right.
animes.
Yeah. I
Like
saw
with
that.
these yeah. So
Yeah.
when they come like I don't know. I don't
Come
know
like cat
because
people.
to be honest, I don't know because I kind of see my personal take on aliens and us because I think there's many things at play here. So if we take the alien element,
Right.
I think there's a couple of things going on here. And I think one is we're being highly observed.
Yeah.
And
Right.
what I mean is by probes and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's something watching us.
What do you think they're looking for?
I think they're looking at us. Not looking for something.
They're just watching.
Looking at us. Yes. I mean, I think to look at us as a species, we're a weird kind of species. Because we will inflict havoc and chaos on each other.
Right.
And it's to cause disharmony and hatred among each other, but there's always a little vulture there capitalizing on it, and it's makes no sense when you look at it that way.
Right. Yeah.
No wonder why we never have the answers to anything, because we can't see the forest for the trees.
Right. Well, we can't see past our own asses most of the time, you know. And most of us have our heads so far up our own ass we can see the backs of our teeth, which is quite something. Julie Jayadi asks, I've heard many conflicting stories about the UFO incident in Livingston, Scotland. What are your thoughts?
Never even heard of it, man.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit more detail would help. Because again,
don't worry.
you've been doing it for so long that some stories just kind of bleed together, don't they?
Well, if they're like classic cases, I don't really know. See, there's some that I know of. That's why I like having Nick as my co-host, because he's brilliant. Like I said, he's a great researcher. He's talked to me and showed me stuff about all these old cases, man. He's like Mulder, man.
Only he looks like Ewan McGregor.
There you go. He's the what do they call it? The remake. He's the remake of the X-Files. Trust me, man.
Yeah.
He does great research, man.
Yeah.
So
he definitely knows how to hold it together. He definitely knows how to keep the show interesting and stuff. I'll give him that for sure. He seems like a very knowledgeable guy and very passionate about what he's doing.
Has any of you guys, in the chat, have you guys had any sightings or anything? Or do you want to talk about any paranormal stuff you see?
Yeah, by all means. I know that a lot of them have.
See, to be honest, I never started my channel as a UFO channel.
Yeah.
I wanted to do paranormal stuff.
Right.
That's where my thing lied in.
Right.
And as I went down that rabbit hole, I just seen so much fakery and bullshit and misidentification.
Yeah.
Is more I want to say, because when you're dealing with the general public, sometimes some people ain't as forward as you are on their journey.
Yeah.
That's the best way I want to put it, because I try and remember that just because I'm here, I was a few years where you were. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because they're on their own journey and they're of truth seeking, you know, and you can't, you know, it's like when I see somebody, and if I see somebody using apps or something like that, or the spirit box, I don't hate on them for it, you know, when they're looking for ghosts or whatever. I don't hate on them, but do I particularly like those things? Not necessarily. I use them, and I do think that there's interesting things, but at the same token, I'm not going to tell somebody they're full of shit because they're using it, you know?
Well, see, in my everyday life, doing the channel, I wouldn't even look at footage like that.
Yeah.
See, I want to see like a manifestation.
Right. Me too.
I want to see, you know,
You bet.
I like EVPs. I somewhat do believe in them
Yeah.
when you're using the right system,
Right.
not a phone app.
Right. Right.
I do believe in them, but as far as showing them, it's hard because people can talk. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you could turn those things and make them about anything. I will say I have seen some very interesting things with the apps before that I know the apps were not manipulated and they were in areas where there was no internet and stuff like that, and they were saying interesting things. I will say I have seen that. It's very few and far between, though. Very few and far between have I ever seen something where I was like, that's really interesting when it comes to like those kinds of tools. But regardless, that's one of the reasons why I don't hate on anybody for using it, because who the fuck am I? Maybe they do work, you know? I mean, I don't think they do, but every now and then something interesting happens and I'm like, huh, you know? It just keeps me guessing. Always with the more questions than answers, which...
See, I want visuals.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
And my viewers, they want to see something.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Even if it throws a glass across the room and then says, get out.
Why always with the get out? Damn grumpy old ghosts, man. Oops. Yeah, I do too. I want to see something too. I really like to capture it on film. That's the thing. When I've seen quite a bit of shit just like you. It's like, well, this is all horse shit. That's why when I say I'll be completely convinced of seeing of ghosts when I capture one on film, you know. And I've captured some pretty interesting things on film. You know, a couple shadows that I don't have an explanation for. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it's personal experience. Yeah, it's personal experience.
Be careful.
Yeah, I know.
When you're looking, sometimes things find you. So
that's right.
Be careful.
Yeah. Michael Burkini asks, what's the one thing that you've seen while researching or being on an investigation that made you go, huh? I guess was something that made you, question, whether or not was something that, you know, that you saw that when you were researching or being on an investigation that made you go, okay, wow, this might actually be something.
That's a hard question, man.
Yeah, my people, they like to ask the real questions. Yeah, it's hard, especially when you've been doing it for so long to determine one thing. But is there anything that comes to mind where it was like when you saw that you were just like, okay, this has taken a turn towards, maybe it's a little bit more interesting than I thought it was. Maybe it's not a weather balloon. Maybe it's not a hang glider, you know?
Well, okay. I've covered some really good stories. But the one, if I have to tell one, I have to tell the best one, yeah?
Okay. Absolutely.
It was, okay, I did a video about this craft that was spotted in our solar system, and it's a big object.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I'll cut a long story short. Put the video out. 2 days later, yeah. Now here's where it gets interesting. NASA addresses this video.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just some guy.
Right.
Saw something. Called it for what I saw it. 2 days later, NASA's on it.
Huh. Yeah, that would definitely make you go, huh?
Make of that what you will.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's an amazing story. The fact that that NASA even found it. I mean, by all means, your subscription count is nothing to scoff at, but it's not hundreds of thousands or millions of viewers by any means, but you're up there. And the fact that NASA saw this video and was like, "Hey, let's talk."
They did a rebuttal on it. Mm-hmm. They were saying you people have seen this video. It's going
okay. Viral. So they went and made a video about it.
Yeah, they made a statement, issued a statement of what this object was.
That's incredible, bro.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
But well here's
done.
where it goes. Here's where it goes. No, man. No, the story ain't done. Here's where it goes. On what they saying it was, they said it was an internal reflection on the camera.
Right.
Yeah. But there's no mechanism on this camera. Because once you get what the camera looks like, the insides of it, the guts, there's no mechanism that has this configuration in the housing.
Uh-huh.
So what is it? What is the reflection from? There's no internal reflection.
Okay.
Right. So the story doesn't end. I just don't talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
I do have somewhat proof of this object being 3-dimensional.
Right. Yeah, I remember you talking to me about that before. I'd forgotten about that story. So yeah, very cool. I love that's just the fact that you got their attention and they were willing to make a video about it and try to debunk it and everything. It's like, man, that's what I meant by well done. Like good. Well done on your part.
Out of all the footage that people post,
right.
That's what added to this conspiracy. But I need to drop this video on this.
Yeah.
Because the guy gave me, the guy who spotted this object first, because I'm the middleman.
Okay.
I'm not watching these cameras that monitor space.
Right.
I just come across this guy's findings.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
And I said, look, man, I can see a 3-dimensional object. This thing was, and he said, look, I know you can see what I see. So here's all the emails from NASA that I've been corresponding about this object.
Right.
And here's a photograph of it showing up on both the satellites at the same time.
Right.
So there's your 3-dimensional object.
Yeah, and there was no denying it. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Myco Minerals asks, any insight on the 1953 Kingman, Arizona UFO crash and possible recovery of biological life?
See, now I just know the name. I need Nick. Nick, where are you? Come on up, man. Nick would know this. Me, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Yet again. But I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's what we're left with, I think, when it comes to UFO stuff. And I mean, even for our next question, which I'm glad is being brought up. Do you believe in Bigfoot? Blueberry329 asking, what do you think about Bigfoot, real or not? But I would like to chime in real quick, just so you know where I'm at with it. I think out of all the cryptids, Bigfoot is the most probable. When you're going up against the New Jersey Devil or the Loch Ness Monster or or a Chappie or El Chupacabra, I think Bigfoot out of all of those is the most likely to exist. That's where I'm at. How about you? What do you think?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. I believe that is it the Smithsonian's? Am I saying it right?
Smithsonian. Mm-hmm.
The museum has had on display bones of pre-humans.
Right.
And if you look at that bone structure, those are your Bigfoots.
Yeah. I've thought about that. Like, definitely the depictions or the stories about Bigfoot seem to describe ancient humans from, you know, like what, like Gigantopithecus or whatever, you know. I often wonder, is it possible that they're still out there? You know, I mean, it would have to be more than one. There's not just one Bigfoot roaming around.
Like cousins.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like the transition from man to ape. For that to have happened, this is why the missing link is so important.
Right.
But surely through that transitional period, you would have cousins.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah. And
this is why an aqua civilization, although how profound it sounded, remember where they said life came from? The news.
Right.
We crawled out of the sea. What if a couple of them, or you know, a few hundred, said, you know what, I like it in the sea. Right. Here I stay.
Yeah.
Who knows how that would have turned out? It's an insane world.
Yeah. This is a fun question from Wisdom. How hard do you think it would be to steal an alien spacecraft?
Ooh.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty hard, I think, because I have no idea how to even fly that thing. I'm scared to death of being in an airplane. I mean, not really being in an airplane, but like, I would not fly one, for God's sake. I have hard enough time keeping four wheels on the ground and making sure that everybody's safe. Could you imagine being in a situation where you just take off?
As much as I would love that, man.
Right.
My family.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I would love to. I don't even think I would walk in there just in case the hatch is closed, man. And that's because, you know, these abduction stories, time just goes days, weeks, who knows, years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even think about it. Just let me show the videos on my channel. And I'm happy.
Let's see here. There's one there. Let me see here. Okay, back to Wisdom asks, what if ghosts can't be caught on film? Well, then I'm fucked, I guess. I think it's possible they could be. I mean, I'm not saying that all footage is fake, you know, stuff that shows shadow figures or whatever. I'm not saying it is, but I would like to capture it, you know. And like I said, I have captured shadows and shit like that. I never captured a shadow figure, but Julie says it was the Deckmont Woods incident with Robert Taylor around 1979 in Livingston, Scotland. Is that bringing up any memory for you or ringing a bell? No?
I'm not that old. I was playing, man. I don't know.
That's all right.
I don't know.
Let's see here. Anybody else got any questions on here? Feel free to fill up the chat with questions. I'm not seeing anything else, so I'm going to find one for you. If you could live in a world where one paranormal phenomenon was definitely real, would you choose UFOs, cryptids, or ghosts?
See, it's still a hard question because which cryptic or just all of them?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah. You might be worried about blood goat sucking sons of bitches coming into your house at night.
You know what I mean? So that one's off the table. Aliens are strange, so that one's off the table. So that leaves ghosts.
Yeah.
Now, where we talking about? Like the nice Casper ghosts? Kind of like the ghost on... Have you seen How High?
How High? I have not.
It's about these two stoners, and they end up making a strain of weed with their friends who smokes a lot of weed. They grow a plant, and every time they smoke the weed and they get high, they see these ghosts. Huh. So like he helps them out through college,
That sounds awesome.
It's
That
a
sounds
good, it's a
awesome.
good stoner movie called How High.
All
Don't
right.
watch the sequel though. Just don't watch it.
Right. Alyssa, I didn't mean to get your question wrong, and you don't have to apologize at all. I
Oh,
appreciate you,
no,
sweetheart.
man.
You're
Don't
just fine.
apologize.
Yeah, you're just fine.
Hey, man, it's me. I don't know these things.
Yeah, and if I missed something, you can ask it again. I apologize. It's really hard to keep up sometimes with the questions. I'm doing my best, but we appreciate you no matter what. So, Wisdom, he says, let me expand on that, Jimmy. I think he's talking about the ghost being filmed or not. What if you saw something and filmed it, but it did not show up on film? Would you believe your camera over your own eyes? That's a good question. Yeah, no. I'd have to say I believe what I see, you know, but
I would question.
Oh yeah, I would definitely question it.
Because I'd wonder why it didn't pick up on the camera.
Yeah.
The camera sees all.
Right.
Camera ain't supposed to lie.
Again, more damn questions than answers. Michael Burkeen asks, do you think that they restored the parts of this UFO crash from Roswell? Do you think they've gotten any technology from that crash?
See, I think Roswell was a cover-up.
Okay. Like, as in, there was an alien craft that crashed there, or do you think it was a cover-up for something else entirely?
I think it was something else. And
okay.
I see things a bit strange.
Okay, no, it's interesting. Go ahead.
Have you ever heard of a guy called Jack Parsons?
Jack Parsons. I don't. It doesn't ring any bells, but go on.
I'm going to name drop some people.
Yeah, absolutely. Do it.
I'm pretty sure that's Jack Parsons. It's the first name that come to me, and I'm stoned. So yeah. But anyways, this guy was a massive occultist, but he worked for NASA. He was behind their rocket. He basically got like the rockets up.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in any fit state?
Am I what now?
Are you in any good state? Could you look this up for me? I just want to make sure Jack Parsons is the right guy I'm talking about.
Okay, Jack Parsons.
I don't like having. Thank you.
What else am I looking for? Jack Parsons, Roswell?
No, not Roswell. NASA.
Okay. Yeah.
See, Parsons. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Was it the right? Is it the right?
He's an American engineer and chemist. What the hell though? A sex cult antichrist? That's interesting.
There you go. You get me now.
Okay.
There you go. This man used to go out in the deserts and hold these ceremonies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Little Jack Parsons there. That's Jack Parsons. Huh.
I think that's why I don't know what to make of it because of Jack Parsons' kind of bit of his involvement in this, because this goes back to Crowley and all this shit, man.
That's a very interesting turn of events, because you're saying that it wasn't a craft, that this was some sort of cover-up for something to do with this guy's sex cult.
Something else. Don't look at it as a sex cult. Yeah, that's how they're trying to discriminate it.
I see.
It was a bit. There was obviously sexual behaviors going on.
Good for him.
But he was practicing the Crowley stuff.
Okay. Aleister Crowley. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Crowley, as it were.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he was also into it because you know that Crowley was feared.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
well deserved.
You got this guy out in NASA that could supposedly open up portals. Jack Parsons is an interesting character to look into. The sex parties, that's why it's laughing and Antichrist stuff. That's why I said yep. Because obviously they're going to try and discredit him.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
He was out there in the deserts doing some proper shit, man. That's all I can say.
Huh. Yeah, that's awesome.
'Cause
I haven't heard
most of
that
the
term.
most of the stuff, if you want to look at it from one angle, was with these parties. It was more to seduce the influential people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Kind of like, yeah, you can talk what you want. Go on.
Right.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
Right.
But have these people in this circle of where he needed them to be.
Right.
Because there were things going on in the house as well, other than that. It's all ritualistic. Check out this Jack Parsons.
Yeah, I think I will.
Insane character, man.
Yeah, it sounds dope. I'd love to hear it. Love to hear about it.
That's why I stopped looking into these things, man, because, you know, it's just blows your mind what's going on out there. What happened?
Yeah, I've not heard. It's amazing, you know. You think you've heard it all, and then something like this shows up. I love it. Tara asks, if you could get into any place in the world without anyone around you, where would it be?
I know. Where would you go?
If I could access something anywhere in the world, the first thing I thought of was Area 51. But I'd also like to have access to the pyramids. Like full-on access to the pyramids, you know. Or the Sphinx. Just that whole area. But I think, yeah, I'd like to see what's going on out at S4 and Area 51, see if that whole thing's real.
I would like to take a bag of weed.
Yeah.
A shitload of Rizzlers. And sit in the Vatican underground library.
Oh, yeah.
I would spend a year. As much as I love my family, that amount of knowledge.
Right. Yeah, that's a good answer.
Would be always would love to go to the Vatican, but there.
Right. Yeah, that's a great answer because, yeah, if you could go down there and just read and read and read, who knows what you might find. Maybe the other half of that library we were talking about earlier is down there.
Definitely, because the Vatican's quite interesting. Because, like, if you look at the stuff about the I don't know if you believe in the Covenant, the Ark.
The Covenant of Dark? I don't know what that is.
The Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, the Ark. Yeah. The Ark of the Covenant. Absolutely. You think it's down there?
I think they do have it. I think there's one or two places.
Right.
Because the tapestry shows them taking it from Israel.
Right.
The Romans.
Right.
But they said it's also a lie because the Levites took it and went to what's that place called, man?
Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they took it to Ethiopia.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I also, going back to, Billy Carson's one of those guys that I like to reference a lot, but just because he's fun. But he did make a point that in the pyramid, what they call tombs aren't big enough to be tombs. However, they're big enough to hold the ark. And it's like there's this theory that the ark was there as some sort of power source or something like that.
See, this again now. This is where Tesla opened up my eyes. Because Tesla, his comment about the pyramids was, he said it was an energy supply, and he said the tombs are lined. He said, first of all, there's been no mummy found in the tombs. They're lined with, and I think he said they were lined with some sort of like copper alloy or something.
Right.
It's a conductor.
Right.
And he said it's set up as an energy source. And if this guy knows, if anybody's going to know about free energy, it's Tesla.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
He said the pyramids also, he alluded to that they were older than what we're being told. Right.
They were also lined in limestone, which is alkaline. You get a lot of alkaline, which, alkaline batteries. it's like that there's some sort of connection between that and, you know, how this thing operated and all that. And I find it, I don't know, I just find it interesting. There's some, it's, you know, it's definitely been well thought out. People thought about it.
Well, see, well, at the beginning of your show, you touched upon like the aspect of electricity and the light bulbs.
Right.
But the thing is, through the conflicts out there, yeah. Then in Baghdad, you remember the Baghdad battery?
I do. Yes. Yeah. I was actually just talking about that with Carla the other day, because there are depictions of those things next to these big light bulbs. You know, there's these little
jars.
Yeah. Yep.
So who's to know? Who's to know they could have created the filament. Because they had the capability of generating the electricity.
Sure.
And
yeah, I mean, it's just copper and vinegar and nickel.
Or in Baghdad, it was lime juice.
You're right, yeah. Lime juice, that's right, yeah. The acid from the lime juice, yeah. Right. We got time for a few more questions here. We're running a little bit over, but I don't mind, because you're a great guest, man. You're a great guest.
I like the sound of my own voice.
I like the sound of your own voice, too. Julie Jaya D asks, what's your thoughts on solid form, full body apparitions?
See, that to me is tricky.
Yeah, what do you I mean, I don't even know what I think about them. You know, I want to see it, I want to experience it. I think I have when I was a little boy. I'm pretty sure that I saw something like that.
Let's say this. See, I think there's probably more to this question, because if you're seeing this, are you seeing this at a moment of grief or anything?
Right.
Because you have to be careful of.
Yeah, very, very well put. Rob Linklater asks, what's your favorite strain? Mine was sour diesel or blue cheese. I'm a blue cheese, blue dream person myself.
My favorite strain is Skittles.
Skittles?
Yeah.
I have been fortunate enough to have Skittles.
But they're nice, aren't they? It's nice.
Yeah. Very much.
That's my favorite.
Blueberry329 asks, have you ever seen a ghost yourself? Or if you have, can you tell us the story?
See, I have seen. I can't. It's weird.
Yeah.
But I have seen some stuff.
Yeah.
See, I had a weird kind of upbringing. Everything was normal, but my mom, she messed about in certain things.
Right.
And so I saw certain things from her. Through her that was around. So that's why I stay away from it, because my child.
Right. Yeah. I can't blame you there, man. I definitely feel I've thought about that, and I will heed your advice and take your warning seriously, because the next place that I'm going to investigate it's rumored to be pretty awful. So
awful in what way?
That there's some negative things hanging around there that you probably don't want to have following you home. And I worry about that. I worry about that.
What do you carry with you?
Faith.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Listen,
No,
I'm not
nice.
offended, because I understand that word can be hollow to some.
No, it's not. It's not hollow.
A trinket isn't going to keep anything away. A trinket is nothing but a piece of metal.
I'm not asking. Nah, you're right. You're correct. But do me a favor, man, because you're gonna go and see anyways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just humor an old man. There's a herb called yarrow.
Okay.
Just get some and put some in a pouch or in your pocket.
Okay.
But just keep that on you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The words of wisdom.
No, it's not words. Just humor an old man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yarrow. I will remember it.
Yarrow. Yeah. Yarrow.
Very good. Well, my friend, it's been 3 hours and 15 minutes. And I don't want to keep you away from the rest of your life. I appreciate you being here with me today and answering questions and allowing me to introduce you to the people here that I care so much about.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah. And I can't wait to be on your show on the 30th of October.
Yes.
Which I will be promoting that as well. Where can people find you?
I say, don't even look for me, man. Just run.
Well, just
run.
When I mean run. Well, they need to find your channel. So your channel is called The Hidden Underbelly. Is it just youtube.com/@thehiddenunderbelly?
Just the hidden.
And you're on Facebook. You're on Facebook, aren't you?
Somewhere. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. You'll find me.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'm all right.
Well, I encourage everybody to hit him up and make sure to.
If you do find me, because Nick will get mad at me, we're doing a live show next Wednesday. So look out for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Next Wednesday, and that's on the Phoenix Lights, right?
I believe that's what Nick has said.
Okay,
that
very
if
good.
he doesn't change his mind.
Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your time very much. Thank you for all the excellent questions from everybody. And tonight, I will be doing a community game night with everybody here in the next hour. So keep an eye out for that live stream as well. I appreciate you all very much. This has been Into the Night with The Hidden Underbelly. Thank you all so much for watching.